Time-Split Café. Chapter 1. The Machine That Shouldn't Work. The bell above the cafe door chimed with its usual shaky wobble, a sound that Amara Chen had grown to recognize better than her own alarm clock. At 7:03 a.m., Time-Split Café was already breathing with the soft warmth of its early morning. Regulars, students clutching laptops, tradesmen ordering double shots without looking up, and retirees who came for the company more than the caffeine. Amara wiped down the counter, humming under her breath as she adjusted her green apron. She always worked the morning shift. She liked the quiet. She liked the slowness. She liked that the world didn't expect much from a 19-year-old girl serving cappuccinos. She didn't like, however, the old espresso machine. It loomed at the end of the counter like a bronze relic dug up from a forgotten era, curved edges, glowing amber light, and a faint mechanical whine that sounded more alive than it should. Mr. Dalton, the cafe owner, insisted it was vintage. Amara insisted it was haunted. She pressed the steam button, and the machine hissed like a temperamental dragon. "Come on," she muttered. "Work with me today, please?" It hummed, then purred. Almost knowingly, Amara frowned. Machines didn't purr, not unless they were planning something. Oh, the first incident of the day. At 7:16 a.m., a familiar face stormed inside, the panic latte guy. That wasn't his real name, but it fit. He always arrived stressed, always shaking, always breathing like a marathon runner. He rushed to the counter. "Triple shot, extra hot, skim, no foam, please, please, please." "Bad morning?" Amara asked gently. His eyes were wild. "I'm late for a presentation. If I mess up this one, I'm fired. Actually fired. Like cardboard box fired, like..." "Okay," she whispered. "Sit, breathe, I've got you." She turned to the haunted espresso machine. The instant she placed the portafilter in, the machine rattled. Hard, almost violently. "What? Hey, stop that!" she hissed, gripping it with both hands. Panic latte guy's voice rose behind her. "This is a nightmare, I swear." The machine clicked sharply. A low hum built beneath her palms, a vibration that didn't feel like steam or heat. It felt like power, and as Panic Latte Guy's voice cracked into a desperate, "I can't do this anymore," the machine suddenly flashed. Light, blue and gold, burst from the seams. The cafe went silent. Panic Latte Guy gasped. And then, he vanished. Not dramatically. Not with a bang. Just gone. A coffee cup clattered onto the floor behind where he'd stood. Amara froze, staring at the empty space. She whispered the only reasonable word she could think of. "What?" "Oh." 10 minutes later. The bell above the door chimed again. Panic Latte Guy stumbled in, panting, his tie crooked, hair frazzled, eyes wide. He stared at Amara. "You," he gasped. You made me skip 10 minutes. "What?" "I was in the meeting room suddenly. I didn't even have to drive. I walked straight in and nailed the presentation. I think I got promoted." Amara blinked. "You were..." "Just here." He grabbed her hands. "Whatever you did, do it again tomorrow." "I didn't do anything." He beamed. "You're a miracle." Then he ran off into the morning sunlight, leaving Amara staring at the espresso machine like it had personally betrayed her. "Okay," she whispered. "You are definitely haunted." The machine, as if satisfied, gave a soft little ding. Oh, the mysterious boy. 5 minutes later, at 7:31 a.m., the door opened again. This time, Amara didn't get her usual morning regular. She got him. A boy she'd never seen before. He stepped inside hesitantly, hood up, hands shoved in the pockets of a brown jacket. Soft dark hair fell over his eyes. He glanced around like someone expecting bad news. He looked young, maybe her age, maybe a bit older, and strangely familiar? No, impossible. He approached the counter slowly. Do you sell tea?" he asked. Amara smiled automatically. "Yep, green, black, or peppermint." "Peppermint," he murmured. "Please." She turned to the espresso machine again, her heartbeat uneasy now. She already sensed it vibrate. Quietly, like it knew something. "Rough morning?" she asked, trying for casual. The boy didn't answer right away. His voice came out soft, almost hoarse. "It's been a long day." "At 7 a.m.? He didn't look at her. Especially at 7 a.m. The words hit her with a strange heaviness. She placed the cup beneath the machine's spout. "Name for the order?" He hesitated, then, "Lio." She typed it in. "Cool name. It's short for something. Complicated." Before she could ask what, The machine suddenly trembled again. No, 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 no! The lights inside the cafe flickered. Amara tried to pull the cup away, but Lio whispered something under his breath. I hope this time is different. And the espresso machine exploded with a bright swirl of blue-gold light. Amara shielded her eyes. The light faded. She looked up. Lio was gone. Oh, and then the bell rang. Amara spun around. Lio stood in the doorway, panting, staring at her with wide, shaken eyes. He whispered, You again? Time Split Cafe. Chapter 2. The Boy Who Keeps Coming Back. Lio stood frozen in the doorway, his chest rising and falling like he'd sprinted through a storm. His hood had slipped back, revealing dark, tousled hair and eyes that carried 10 minutes' worth of fear. Not a normal kind of fear, a future kind. Amara swallowed. You again? He'd said, like they had history, except she had met him 5 minutes ago. He took a hesitant step forward. You're still here. I work here, she replied, trying for humor but hearing the tremor in her own voice. Lio blinked rapidly like he wasn't convinced. Right, yeah, of course. He moved toward the counter slowly, scanning the room like someone checking for traps. Amara's heart hammered. Okay, she said carefully. Listen, I need you to tell me what just happened. Because you disappeared. Like, poof. And now you're acting like... I didn't mean to jump, he whispered. Jump? Lio winced. That's what I call it. She stared at him. Jump. Into the future? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Amara reached out and touched the espresso machine's warm metal surface. It felt innocent, ordinary, completely untrustworthy. You've done this before, she said quietly. Leo's lips parted, but the words stuck in his throat. His gaze dropped to the machine, then flicked away like it hurt to look at it. It always happens here, he murmured. Amara felt a shiver run down her spine. Here in this cafe? He nodded once reluctantly. And only when I'm overwhelmed. Emotionally? Lio let out a shaky breath. Yeah, that. Amara blinked. So, you're telling me this machine time jumps people when they're emotional? Leo's eyes softened strangely. Not people, he said. Me. Oh, the unwanted tea. Amara tried to stay calm, grounding herself the way she'd learned during late-night anxiety spirals. Okay, this was happening. A boy had traveled 10 minutes into the future. Twice. Inside her workplace, because her espresso machine felt dramatic, totally normal. Look, I made your tea. She held it out with a tiny laugh. For what it's worth. Lio took it with trembling fingers. It's still warm, he whispered. She frowned. Yeah, I just made it? No, he said quietly. When I jumped, the tea was cold. Amara froze. And you were crying. Her stomach dropped. What? Why? I don't know. Lio swallowed hard. The future changes every time, but it's never good. The weight of his voice pressed down on the space between them. Amara found herself stepping closer. Lio, are you in danger? He opened his mouth to answer, and the door slammed open. A woman barged in, frantic, clutching a shattered phone screen. Tears streaked down her cheeks. She looked like the world had ended in the parking lot. Please, she gasped. Please, I need something strong. My husband, Her voice cracked into raw sobs. Leo's head snapped toward the noise. No, he whispered. Amara, don't serve her. If you turn that machine on... But Amara was already moving instinctively, reaching for a comforting tone. Hey, it's okay. Sit down, you're safe. Let me make you something warm. Lio lunged toward her. Amara, stop! She touched the machine's handle. It glowed. Faintly, golden light pulsed from beneath the metal like a heartbeat. Amara's breath hitched. Not again. The grieving woman sobbed harder, spilling her pain into the room like static. The machine thrummed. Light swirled. Amara grabbed Leo's arm. What do we do? You need to let her feel it, he said urgently. What? Let the emotion peak. If you interrupt it, the machine forces the jump. How do you know that? Because I've done this 1,000 times. His voice cracked, raw, honest, exhausted. He'd shouted loud enough for the woman to look up in shock. And in that exact moment, the machine's glow flickered, then died. Amara stared. No jump, no light, no 10-minute time skip. Slowly, the woman's sobbing softened into shaky breaths. Thank you, she whispered. Sorry, I didn't mean to storm in. Amara smiled gently. You're okay. Want chamomile? The woman nodded. But Lio wasn't looking at her. He was staring at the machine as though he'd just outsmarted a wild animal. Amara poured the tea and gently handed it to the woman, who retreated to a quiet corner, tissues in hand. Then she turned to Lio. "What?" she whispered. "Was that?" He ran a hand through his hair. "It reacts to emotion," he said softly, "but only to certain kinds. Panic, hurt, desperation, the kind you try to hide." She narrowed her eyes. "And you know all this how?" He hesitated. "Then, because I've been jumping for months," he murmured. "And every time I jump, something bad happens in the next 10 minutes. Amara's pulse spiked. "And now that you're back here, again, does that mean something bad is about to happen right now?" Leo's eyes locked onto hers. Not frightened, not confused. "Certain?" "Yes," he whispered. "It means the next 10 minutes are the reason I keep coming back." Amara felt the ground drop out beneath her. "The reason you keep coming back is me, isn't it?" The way he looked at her told her the answer before he said it. "Yes," Lio breathed. "It's always you." Time Split Café, Chapter 3, 10 Minutes of Fate. Leo's confession hung in the warm, glowing air of the cafe like a spark waiting for something flammable. It's always you, not a stranger, not something in the room, not random chaos from the universe. Her. Amara felt her heartbeat thud beneath her apron. I don't understand," she whispered. "Why me? I barely met you this morning." Leo's eyes softened, almost regretful. "You barely met me today," he said quietly. "But I've met you too many times to count." She stared at him, breathing too shallow. "What does that mean?" He opened his mouth, but the espresso machine answered for him. A low hum, a thrum under the counter, a pulse through the floorboards. Lio stiffened. "No," he murmured. "Not now." Amara stepped back from the machine, hands raised like it was a wild animal. "I'm not even touching it." "You don't have to," Lio said through clenched teeth. "Something in this room is shifting." Amara's gaze swept the cafe. The old man reading the newspaper, the mother with the pram at the corner table, the grieving woman sipping chamomile, a tradesman tapping his foot impatiently. Everything seemed normal. But the air wasn't. The lights above them flickered, a slow, simmering dim. Then, crack! A loud snap rang through the cafe as the back kitchen's breaker tripped. The fridge beeped angrily. Someone gasped. The mother with the pram jolted. Leo's breath caught. "Amara, move." She blinked. "Why?" He pointed. "At the shelf." He didn't have to say more. The top shelf above the espresso machine, crowded with decorative. Mugs collected over decades tilted. A screw slipped, so slowly it was almost graceful. And then, it tore loose. The entire shelf came crashing down, ceramic exploding toward the counter. Lio grabbed Amara's waist and yanked her back. A mug shattered exactly where her head had been. Gasps rippled through the cafe. Amara stumbled, Leo's arm steadying her. "Are you okay?" he asked, breathless. She nodded shakily. "Yeah, thanks to you." Lio let go immediately, stepping back like he'd touched fire. His face was pale. "Haunted. That's always how it starts," he said. "Something falls. Something breaks. Something almost hits you." "Almost?" she echoed. He nodded. The first few loops, it was almost. Then it became closer. Amara swallowed. "What happened this time?" "In your jump?" He avoided her eyes. "You were crying again." "Why?" "I don't know. But something happened." Leo's jaw tightened. "Something always happens." Amara crossed her arms. "You're not telling me everything." He didn't deny it. She glanced at the broken shelf. "So, is this it? Is that what you came back to stop?" Lio shook his head. "That was just the beginning." "The beginning of what?" He took a slow breath, like steadying himself before a plunge. "I keep coming back," he said quietly, "because 10 minutes into the future, something always hurts you, and every time I try to stop it, the timeline shifts." Amara waited. He forced himself to go on. "And eventually, no matter what changes, you always end up leaving the cafe." She blinked. "Leaving?" "For good," Lio whispered. A chill ran through her. "But why would I don't know," he said. "And that's the problem. Every loop, it's different. Sometimes you quit. Sometimes you run. Sometimes," he closed his eyes briefly, "you don't get the chance to do either." Amara's heartbeat stuttered. "You mean Lio opened his eyes, voice barely above a breath. Yes. She took a step back. No, that can't be. I'm standing right here. You're standing here now, he said softly. But the next 10 minutes haven't happened yet. Amara stared at him, at this quiet, trembling boy who kept arriving breathless from futures she couldn't see. And you came back, she said slowly, to stop it. Lio nodded. Why? She whispered. You don't even know me. His voice cracked on the answer. Because every time I lose you, it feels like the first time. Amara's breath hitched. The room seemed to tilt. Lio, she whispered. But before she could say more, the espresso machine glowed. Softly, warningly, like the warm-up breath of a sleeping beast. Leo's eyes widened. No, Amara, don't panic. Don't feel anything. If it senses too much... Too much what? Emotion. She stared at him. You want me to be emotionless right now? Lio grabbed her shoulders. That machine reacts to heightened feelings. Fear, panic, heartbreak. You need to stay calm. I'm not losing you again. But her emotions were already spiraling. Fear, confusion, disbelief. And the machine's glow answered her pulse beat for beat. The mother with the pram cried out suddenly. My baby? Amara spun. The stroller rolled, just a few inches, toward the uneven step near the counter. A gentle tilt, a dangerous angle. The machine pulsed brighter. Lio swore. It's feeding off the panic. Before he could finish, a burst of blue-gold light erupted from the machine, and the room flooded with the warmth of a jump. But this time, Amara wasn't the one who disappeared. Lio was. Time Split Café, Chapter 4, The Future. He didn't want her to see. The cafe fell silent the instant Lio vanished. One heartbeat he was gripping her shoulders. The next the air closed around the space he'd been standing in. Amara staggered forward. No, Lio. Nothing answered. The espresso machine dimmed again, innocent and quiet, like it hadn't just swallowed a boy whole. The mother with the pram gasped, holding her baby tightly now. What just happened? Amara forced out a shaky breath. I'm not sure. Which wasn't entirely a lie. But it wasn't safe to explain the truth. Not yet. Her mind raced. If Lio jumped forward 10 minutes, then right now, right this second, he was living a future she'd never seen. A future where she apparently always ends up leaving. Her stomach twisted. What did that mean? Lio kept talking like he'd watched her vanish, quit, collapse. Maybe all three, and he looked so wrecked every time he said it. Amara's hands trembled around a dish towel. What happens to me? She whispered to herself. A small ding rang from the espresso machine, almost teasing, almost knowing. She glared at it. I swear if you jump me too. But the machine didn't react. It stayed quiet, humming the way old machines hum when they're bored. The mother with the pram approached, voice gentle. Are you all right, love? Amara jolted. I'm fine. I think... You look pale. I have that effect on myself. The woman offered a comforting smile, then returned to her table. Amara checked the time on the wall clock. Lio had been gone 1 minute. 9 more to go, if the pattern held. She gripped the counter tightly. 9 minutes. 9 minutes until the boy who claimed he'd seen countless versions of her future returned. 9 minutes until she knew what he'd seen this time. The thing about time. Amara needed to keep busy. Doing nothing made her brain spiral into panic-rambling monologue mode. And right now, panic was the last thing the machine needed sensing. So she cleaned. She wiped down tables. She refilled sugar jars. She swept non-existent crumbs. She rearranged coasters by color, because her brain demanded order while her heart was chaos. 5 minutes passed. Her eyes kept flicking to the door. Come on, she whispered. Be okay. 6 minutes. A ceramic clink behind her made her jump. The old man with the newspaper raised his coffee cup slightly. Refill? Oh, yeah, of course. She filled it without touching the espresso machine. She grabbed the drip pot instead. 7 minutes. The tradesman approached the counter. Flat white? Sure, regular milk or... A flicker. A glow. A soft vibration beneath her fingertips. Not now, she hissed, yanking her hand away. The machine quieted. 8 minutes. A cold feeling settled in her chest. If Lio didn't come back, if something happened in this 10 minutes, she shook the thought off, breathing through her nose. Stay calm, she muttered. Stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. Because if she panicked, the machine would react. And if the machine reacted, someone else could jump. 8.5 minutes. She stared at the door. Her heart ached more than she expected. Lio. The return. At 9 minutes and 52 seconds, the bell chimed, softly, almost apologetically. Amara looked up. Lio stood in the doorway, but something was wrong. He wasn't breathless this time. He wasn't trembling. He looked hollow, like something had drained the color from him. He walked in slowly, eyes locked on her the whole time. Amara rushed toward him. Lio, are you okay? What happened? What did you see? He didn't answer. He didn't blink. He stopped a foot away from her, close enough that she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Amara, he said softly. She reached for his arm. Lio, tell me what you saw. He exhaled shakily. Then, you weren't here. Her stomach twisted. What do you mean? You weren't behind the counter. You weren't with the customers. His voice broke. You weren't in the building. A chill crawled up her spine. Was the cafe empty? He shook his head. No. Then where was I? Lio swallowed. Hard. You were outside, he whispered. Outside where? His jaw tightened. Across the street, he said. On the footpath. What was I doing? Lio looked like the words physically hurt him. You weren't moving. The ground felt like it disappeared beneath her feet. She stared at him, breath caught in her throat. Lio, she whispered. Are you saying I... He shook his head violently, grabbing her hands. No, listen. It wasn't final. It wasn't complete. I think I jumped before it finished. Amara swayed and he steadied her. Her voice trembled. What happened to me? He cupped her hands between his. I don't know. But there was a car, and glass, and... He stopped, squeezing his eyes shut. And I heard someone scream your name. Her throat tightened. Whose voice? Lio opened his eyes. It sounded like mine. Amara's breath hitched. But I wasn't there, Lio whispered. I wasn't anywhere in that future. Only you. And I was... On the ground, he finished, voice breaking. Amara's vision blurred briefly, her mind spinning. A car. Glass. Her name being screamed. She pulled her hands away and backed up a step. Why are you the one jumping? She asked quietly. Why not me? Why do you keep getting pulled into my future instead of your own? Lio looked at her with something like fear and certainty blending together. Because, he whispered, whatever happens to you breaks the timeline. She blinked. Breaks it how? Because you matter to it. Matter how? He took a step closer. You're the fixed point, Amara. She froze. What does that mean? It means, he whispered, the timeline is trying to correct something around you. And I'm the one caught in the correction. Amara's breath trembled. So you're saying, you're here because of me? Yes. And you keep coming back because I'm in danger? Yes. And you can't stop jumping until I figure out how to change the moment where everything goes wrong. Amara stared at him. Then softly, and what if that's impossible? Leo's expression cracked like a breaking dam. He didn't say anything. He just pulled her into his arms. Amara stiffened for half a second, then melted into him. His voice shook in her hair. I'm not losing you again. A time-split café. Chapter 5. The Rule of Broken Moments. Lio held Amara like she might vanish if he loosened his grip. And for a moment, the café wasn't a café. It was a pause button on reality. His heartbeat hammered against hers, too fast, too scared. Amara pulled back gently, though her hands lingered on his sleeves as if her body hadn't decided whether letting go was a good idea. Okay, she whispered. Tell me everything. No holding back this time. Lio nodded, but the movement was shaky. I'm trying, he murmured. But every time I think I've figured it out, something changes. The future shifts. Your position changes. The people around you change. But the outcome stays the same, Amara finished. He swallowed hard. Yes. A soft clink echoed behind them as the tradesman set down his cup. Another flat white? He asked, oblivious. Lio stiffened. Don't touch the machine. Amara raised her eyebrows at him. I'm allowed to make coffee, Lio. The machine reacts to you, more than anyone else here. His voice was soft but urgent. I don't know why yet. But when you touch it, it feels stronger. The idea wrapped cold fingers around her chest. Are you saying the machine is connected to me? Emotionally, he said. Energetically, something. I don't know the mechanism yet. Great, Amara muttered. My workplace is emotionally clingy. But Lio didn't laugh. He didn't even smile. He stepped closer. When I was in the future just now, I saw something else, something new. Her stomach dropped. What? Lio hesitated, eyes flicking to the customers. We should talk somewhere private. Like where? She asked. The storeroom? The alley? My apartment? The words were out before she could stop them. She winced. I mean, not in a creepy way. Lio actually cracked a small smile. It made him look younger, softer, human. The storeroom is fine, he said quietly. But the moment they took a step toward the back, the cafe door chimed. Amara turned and froze. A man stepped inside. Tall, dark coat, umbrella dripping, eyes sharp as cold steel. He scanned the cafe like someone reading a puzzle. Then his gaze fell on Lio. Lio went rigid. Not him, he whispered. Not now. Amara glanced between them. You know this guy? Lio didn't answer. The man approached the counter with slow, deliberate steps. Something about him was familiar in a way Amara couldn't place, like a dream. She'd forgotten, but whose feeling lingered. Morning, the man said politely. Too politely. What can I get for you? Amara asked, forcing a smile. But the man didn't look at her. He looked at Lio. Running late today, he said. Leo's throat bobbed. I'm not running. The man's eyes flicked to the espresso machine, then back to Lio. Still getting involved in things you shouldn't? Amara bristled. Hey, he's a customer, not your business. The man finally met her eyes. And when he smiled, it wasn't unkind. It was sad. Amara, he said softly. She blinked. I know you? Not yet, he said. But you will. Lio stepped between them, tension radiating from him. Don't talk to her. I'm not here to fight, the man replied gently. I'm here to warn her. He shifted his umbrella. Rain dripped onto the floor. About what? Amara whispered. The man gave her a long, heavy look. About the moment that keeps breaking the timeline. Her heart slammed in her chest. You mean the accident? The man held up a hand. You won't die, Amara. She exhaled shakily. But, he added quietly, someone else will. The room tilted. What do you mean? Amara breathed. He looked straight at Lio. I mean, the man said, that you're not the only fixed point. Leo's face drained of color. No, he whispered. No, don't do this. The man continued calmly. The event that keeps repeating isn't about Amara leaving the cafe. It's about you. He turned to Amara again. Lio doesn't jump because he's cursed. He jumps because he's a variable. A what? She asked. A person whose actions can alter fixed events. Someone the machine responds to. He paused. And the timeline is trying to reach equilibrium. Amara stared blankly. In English, please? The man softened his tone. It means the timeline is trying to correct something. By putting one of you in the other's place. A cold wave of dread washed over her. Lio took her hand without thinking. No, she whispered. No, that can't mean... The man nodded sadly. Yes, he said. It means one of you is meant to be in that street. One of you is meant to fall. One of you is meant to stay. Amara's breath hitched. Which one? The man's gaze flicked between them. I don't know, he said. But the machine does. Amara's eyes widened. And then, behind her, the espresso machine began to glow again. Lio yanked her back. Amara, don't touch it. She didn't. But the glow strengthened anyway. The machine wasn't reacting to fear or panic this time. It was reacting to truth, and that terrified her more. The man stepped back, raising his umbrella like a shield. Your next jump, he warned Lio. We'll show you the moment neither of you survives. Lio froze. Amara's heart stopped. And the machine flared white. 10 minutes into the future was coming for them both. A time-split cafe. Chapter 6. The Jump That Shouldn't Happen. The espresso machine blazed with white light, blinding, sharp, alive. Every customer in the cafe recoiled. The mother shielded her baby. The old man dropped his newspaper. Even the mysterious umbrella man stepped back, jaw tightening. Lio grabbed Amara's wrist. Get away from it. But the air around them twisted, pulling inward like a breath before a scream. Amara felt the tug. Not physical, not emotional. Temporal. It felt like gravity had found her heart and was yanking it forward. No, Lio whispered, pulling her behind him. It's aiming for you. Stay behind me. Lio, if you jump again. It's fine, he said. A lie so gentle it hurt. The umbrella man spoke sharply. Don't block the fixed point. Lio ignored him. The machine pulsed once. Twice. A heartbeat sinking with terror. And then the world tore open. A swirl of gold, blue, and white consumed the counter. Amara screamed Leo's name. Lio shouted hers. The cafe vanished. 10 minutes later, the world reformed like a broken mirror reassembling itself. But this time, Amara was the one standing alone. She blinked against the dazzling sunlight. Not in the cafe. Not behind the counter. She was outside, across the street, exactly where Lio said he found her in every loop. The ground beneath her feet felt unreal. I jumped, she whispered. I actually jumped. Her heart pounded. She turned in a frantic circle. Lio wasn't there. Neither was the cafe. Not in the way she knew it. The building was there, yes, but inside it was empty. Lights off, tables overturned, a chair broken, a mug shattered on the floor. Like something had happened, something violent. Amara's breath hitched. Lio? She called out. Her voice echoed against the shop fronts. No answer. Lio! She ran toward the cafe, dodging pedestrians who didn't seem to notice her panic. She reached the sidewalk and froze. Glass, scattered everywhere, reflecting the sun. It looked exactly like Lio described. Fragments of a future she was never meant to see. Her throat closed. No sirens, no crowd, no body. But the absence felt worse. Lio, she whispered. Where are you? Then, a voice behind her. Don't move. Amara turned. The umbrella man stood in the shade of the bus stop, watching her intently. Except he wasn't holding an umbrella anymore. He was holding a watch, old, silver, its hands spinning wildly. Time is unstable, he said calmly. You're not supposed to be here. Amara's knees weakened. You said I wouldn't die. You won't. He stepped toward her slowly. But that doesn't mean you're safe. What happened in there? She demanded. Why was the cafe trashed? Where's Lio? The man exhaled heavily. Lio stayed in the cafe. Her breath hitched. He didn't jump with me? He couldn't. The man's voice hardened. He put himself between you and the machine. He absorbed the jump. Amara felt ice in her spine. Then where is he now? Between moments, the man replied. Trapped in the time split. Her vision blurred. No, bring him back. You have to bring him back. I can't. Then fix it. The man stepped closer, lowering his voice. I'm trying to, but I need you to listen, Amara. She forced herself to breathe. He continued. You are the fixed point. You are the reason the machine activates. Lio is the variable, the only one who can change the outcome. If the fixed point jumps, the variable gets trapped. Amara's heart sank. So I caused this? You didn't know, he said gently. But I still did it. Yes. The guilt hit her like a tidal wave. The man held out the spinning watch. There's one way to pull him out of the split. Amara wiped her eyes. How? You have to trigger the machine again, he said. Not to jump. To synchronize. You must create the same emotional frequency that activated it when you and Lio were together. Amara's pulse stuttered. You mean, I have to feel something strong? Yes. What kind of emotion? The man looked at her with sympathy. The kind that binds two people, he said softly. The kind that breaks timelines. Amara swallowed hard. Love? She whispered. The man didn't answer. He didn't need to. The silence did. Thunder rumbled somewhere distant. But the sun shone bright. Amara looked back at the silent cafe. Lio had jumped again. But this time he hadn't come back. She clenched her shaking fists. Tell me what to do. The man nodded once. Go inside. Amara stepped toward the cafe door. Before she opened it, she whispered, I'm bringing you back, Lio. I'm not losing you either. She pushed the door open. The moment she stepped inside, the espresso machine lit up again. Waiting, ready. Time Split Cafe. Chapter 7. The Heartbeat of a Machine. The cafe interior was wrong. Not messy. Not destroyed. Frozen. The air hung still, mid-motion. Steam paused halfway from a kettle. A napkin floated an inch above the floor. A spilled sugar jar's grains hovered like stardust suspended in the sunbeams. Time wasn't moving. Not forward, not back, just holding its breath. Amara stepped inside. The door clicked shut behind her. It echoed like it traveled through a cavern. The silence was suffocating. "Lio?" she whispered. No answer. Her voice didn't even ripple the air. She stepped toward the counter, shoes crunching softly against unmoving sugar crystals. The espresso machine glowed faintly. Warm, alive, expectant. She placed her fingertips on its bronze surface. It pulsed, softly at first, then deeper like a second heartbeat. Thrum, thrum, thrum. Amara shivered. "Okay," she whispered. "You want emotion? Fine, I've got plenty." The umbrella man had said the jump needed the same emotional frequency as before, but stronger, sharper. But which emotion? Fear? Hope? Panic? Love? She swallowed hard. "Show me," she whispered to the machine. "Show me what I need to feel." The machine hummed, and for a split second, just one, the room flickered. A soft shimmer of a scene. Lio, standing where she had last seen him, reaching for her hand. Then, another flash. Lio curled on the cafe floor, time twisting around him like shattered glass. Another, Lio standing in rain, shouting her name. Another, Leo's eyes terrified, lunging toward her as a car's headlights flared. "Stop!" Amara gasped, pressing her hand against the machine. "Stop!" The images vanished. She stood trembling, breath uneven. But she understood. It wasn't asking her to feel one emotion. It wanted all of them. The tangled, overwhelming, unfiltered truth of her heart. The same chaotic storm she'd felt the moment Lio disappeared. She pressed her forehead to the machine, voice cracking. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I'm so scared I can't breathe." The machine glowed brighter. "But I'm also angry." Her fingers curled into fists. "Angry that you keep hurting him. Angry that you keep choosing him. A deeper pulse. And I'm confused." Her eyes filled. About why he cares so much. About why he looks at me like he's seen 100 versions of me. And why all of them mattered. Her heartbeat synced with the machine's. "But mostly," she whispered, voice trembling, "I'm afraid of losing him." The machine flared gold. "And I don't even know him." "Not really. But I feel like I do." A soft, warm hum vibrated up her arms. "I don't know what's happening to us," she said. "But if this thing," she tapped the machine, "responds to the truth, then here it is." She closed her eyes. "I care about him." The machine surged. "I want him safe." Light spiraled upward. "I want him back." The glow thickened into radiant, swirling arcs. "And if you need the strongest emotion I have..." Her breath hitched as her voice cracked completely. "Fine, take it." She clenched the metal so hard it almost burned. "I don't want a future where he's not in it." The espresso machine shook. Lights flickered madly. And then, time shattered. The frozen cafe cracked like a mirror. Air rippled. The floor trembled. A voice cut through the collapse. "Amara!" Her eyes flew open. Lio stood at the center of the cafe. Half transparent. Half real. Caught between timelines. Amara gasped. "Lio!" He reached for her, but his hand passed through the air like mist. No, Amara, you weren't supposed to jump." "I didn't," she shouted. "You did?" "I'm stuck," he wheezed, as the world warped around him, distorting his outline. "I can't anchor." "Yes, you can," she cried, pressing her palms to the machine. "It wants us to sink. Just feel what I feel." Lio shook his head frantically. "No, Amara, I can't, if I feel everything I've been holding back." "Elio!" she screamed over the collapsing room. "I saw what you saw." He froze. "The street," she cried. The glass. The scream. "I saw it!" His expression broke like a fault line. "No," he whispered. "You weren't supposed to..." "I know what you keep trying to save me from." Lio trembled, voice raw. "And I would do it again. Every version, every loop. I would do anything to keep you alive." Amara pressed her hand toward him. "Then feel that." Their fingers were inches apart. The air between them sparked. Leo's voice cracked. "Amara, if I let myself feel everything, do it." "You don't understand," he whispered. "If I do, I won't be able to let you go." Amara's tears spilled. "Good," she whispered. "Don't let go." The cafe exploded into white light, and Leo's hand finally closed around hers, solid, real, together. Time Split Café. Chapter 8. When Time Finally Moves. For a moment, just a breath, Amara felt everything. Leo's hand in hers, the warmth of his skin, the tremor in his fingers, the terrified relief in his eyes. It was like grabbing onto someone at the edge of a cliff, clutching so tightly the world couldn't pry you apart. White light swirled around them in a furious spiral of gold, blue and fracturing moments. Scenes flickered like shards of memory. Amara pouring tea, Lio shouting her name in the rain, the cafe lights flickering, a silver watch spinning out of control, her palm against the espresso machine. His eyes the moment he thought he lost her. Every loop, every jump, every near miss. They all collapsed into this single point, into one choice. Amara squeezed his hand harder. Lio, look at me. He did. His chest heaved, as if he was fighting gravity, and losing. You're here, he whispered. You're actually here? I'm not leaving, she said firmly. Not this time. Leo's face crumpled with emotion. He'd been holding back for what felt like lifetimes. You don't understand, he said. Every jump, every version. You disappear. Sometimes I find you. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's too late. His voice broke. I thought I was losing you again. You didn't, she whispered. You won't. The air around them vibrated, brighter and brighter. The machine feeding, sinking, aligning. Lio gripped her hand desperately. I'm scared, he admitted. I've been terrified since the first time I saw the future where I lost you. And I've been terrified since the first time I jumped, she said. He blinked. You jumped? Chapter 6, she said. Okay, she didn't say that. But the look on his face said he understood what she meant. I saw what you saw, she continued softly. I saw the street, the glass, and I heard your voice. Lio closed his eyes. A single tear fell. Amara, I can't watch that happen again. You won't, she said. How do you know? Because the machine reacts to emotion. She stepped closer, and right now it's reacting to both of us. The light engulfed them fully, then flared outward with a deep, resonant boom. Time slams back into place. The world snapped. Colors drained, then returned. Sound rushed in. Steam hissed. The kettle clinked. The napkin fell to the floor. The sugar jar spilled completely. The cafe unfroze. Everything moved again. The espresso machine stopped glowing, settling into a quiet hum. Like a creature tired after a long fight, Amara staggered. Lio caught her. Both solid, both breathing, both here. No more half images, no more distortions, no more split timelines, just one. The umbrella man's voice echoed from behind the counter. Well, he said softly, you did it. Lio spun around. You knew this would happen. I knew it could happen, the man corrected. Not that it would. Amara steadied herself against Lio. What, exactly, did we do? The man stepped forward, tucking the silver watch into his coat. You synchronized, he said simply. Two emotional frequencies aligned at the same instant. In English, she pleaded. The man's expression softened. You and Lio anchored each other, he explained. You created a point in time so strong that every fractured timeline had to collapse back into this one. So, Lio breathed. The loops are gone? The man nodded. The future is stable again. Amara's breath shuddered. So I'm not going to... No, the man said firmly. That future is gone. And Lio? She asked, voice small. He's not going to get trapped anymore. Not unless he touches that machine again. The man smirked, which I strongly advise against. The espresso machine hissed defensively. Amara glared at it. You absolute menace. Lio let out a breath that sounded closer to a laugh. For the first time since she'd met him, he looked light, relieved, human, alive. You're okay, he whispered to her. You're okay, she whispered back. They stood there breathing each other in. Alive, together, in the same moment. No loops, no jumps, no countdown. Just time, moving forward. Then time does something unexpected. The umbrella man tipped his head. My work here is done, he said gently. Wait, Amara stepped forward. Who are you really? A friend, he answered. To us, Lio asked. To time, he corrected. He walked toward the exit. Just before he stepped through the door, he added, Be careful with each other. He paused. And be careful with that machine. It listens. Then he was gone. The bell chimed softly behind him. Just Amara and Lio. Silence settled. The warm kind. The safe kind. Lio turned to her. Amara, he said quietly, She held up a hand. Before you say anything dramatic, she said, can we sit? I feel like I've been emotionally hit by 5 cars, 3 timelines, and a caffeine overdose. He blinked, then smiled. A real one. Yeah, he said. Let's sit. They moved to a booth by the window. For a long moment, they just breathed. Then Lio looked at her with a softness that warmed her chest. You pulled me out, he said. Nobody's ever done that. You held on, she replied. You didn't let go. I told you I wouldn't, and I told you not to. Their hands brushed on the table. Not an accident. The first intentional touch between 2 people finally freed from fate. Amara looked down at their intertwined fingers. We have a lot to talk about, she whispered. Lio nodded. We have time now. And for the first time, both of them believed it. Time Split Café. Chapter 9. After the Storm. The cafe felt different. Quieter, even though customers had slipped back into movement. Warmer, even though nothing in the thermostat had changed. It was like the whole room had exhaled. Or maybe that was just Amara. She sat across from Lio in the booth by the window, the late morning sun softening the edges of everything. Her heart had finally slowed, but every now and then she caught Lio looking at her like he still wasn't convinced she was real. She couldn't blame him. She wasn't convinced either. They sat in comfortable silence until Lio cleared his throat. Can I ask you something? Amara raised a brow. Is it time travel related or emotionally devastating? He actually laughed. A little of both. She groaned. Okay, hit me. Lio shifted, running his thumb along the edge of his sleeve. When I was stuck in the split, I heard something. Like what? You, he said softly. Amara blinked. Me? You were talking. To the machine, I guess. I couldn't see you, but I could hear your voice. Her breath caught. What did I say? Lio swallowed. It wasn't clear at first. Everything sounded distorted, but then I heard one sentence perfectly. Amara's chest tightened. What sentence? Lio lifted his eyes to hers, and something inside her fell completely still. You said, he whispered. I don't want a future where he's not in it. Amara froze. Heat rushed through her face. She stared at him, throat dry, brain empty. Oh, she breathed. Yes, that. I did say that. To a machine. Out loud, fantastic. Leo's voice softened. Did you mean it? Amara hesitated, but only for a moment. Yes, she said quietly. I did. He let out a breath that sounded like relief and disbelief tangled together. Amara, you have no idea what that did to me. She felt her pulse thump in her ears. You heard it? Every word. He reached across the table, his fingers lightly brushing hers. That's what helped me anchor. That's what pulled me toward you. Her heart fluttered painfully. I thought emotions were dangerous around the machine. They are, Lio said. But I think, yours and mine together, they weren't dangerous. He looked at her, the way someone looks at a sunrise after too many storms. They were right. Amara's breath shook. She wasn't ready for how that made her feel. Warm, seen, chosen. She looked down at their hands. Lio gently turned his palm upward. She hesitated, not because she didn't want to take it, but because she really, really did. So she did. Their fingers intertwined. A soft current of something familiar, or maybe brand new, moved between them. Lio exhaled like he'd been waiting years for that touch. Coffee, normalcy, and everything not normal. After a minute, Amara licked her lips. So, how long have you been jumping? Lio rested his elbow on the table. About 3 months. Maybe more. Time gets weird when you're not sure which version you're in. 3 months? She gasped. And all this time you kept seeing me? He nodded. Every timeline. Every loop. Somehow you were always there. Same cafe, same apron, same stubborn way of stirring sugar. She squinted. I don't stir sugar stubbornly. You absolutely do. Well, maybe sugar deserves it, she muttered. He smiled, soft and quiet. You were the only constant, he said. The only fixed point. It wasn't flirty. It wasn't poetic. It was the truth. And Amara didn't know what to do with a truth that big. One that made her feel like she mattered in a way she'd never felt before. Before she could reply, The bell above the door chimed again. The umbrella man stepped back inside. Amara startled. "Did you forget something?" "Just checking the temporal residue," he said casually. Lio frowned. "Is that dangerous? For normal people?" The man said. "Nah, for emotionally unstable time-sensitive variables." He tilted his head meaningfully toward Lio. "Potentially catastrophic." Amara tightened her grip on Leo's hand. The man waved her off. "He's fine now." "Now?" she repeated. The man nodded. "You two stabilized the timeline. Think of it as closing an open wound." Lio looked uneasy. "So, it's over?" "For you?" "Yes," the umbrella man said. "For now?" Amara didn't like the way he said "for now." "What does that mean?" "It means time has its patterns," the man replied. "And some patterns return. But hopefully," he glanced at the espresso machine, which gave a tiny, offended hiss. "This one stays quiet." With that, he tipped his imaginary hat and left again. Amara watched him go. Lio squeezed her hand. "You okay?" he murmured. "Yeah," she lied. "Well, mostly." Leo's gaze softened. "Hey," he said. "You're safe now." "We both are." "Are we?" she asked quietly. "I mean, what if something triggers the machine again?" Lio shook his head. "It's done. The loop closed. The future isn't pulling me anymore. Promise?" He leaned closer. "I'm right here," he said gently. "And I'm staying." Her heart fluttered again, this time in a good way. A new kind of future. The cafe slowly returned to normal. Customers chatted. Someone asked for extra foam. Someone else complained about oat milk. And Amara and Lio just sat there, fingers interlocked, time finally leaving them alone. She swallowed softly. "So, what happens now?" Her voice trembled with something tender. Lio looked at her like the question had an obvious answer. "Now," he said slowly, thumb brushing her hand, "we get to find out who we are without time chasing us." She looked at him. Really looked at him. For the first time, he wasn't a mystery, not a variable, not a warning, not a ghost from 10 minutes ahead. Just a boy who chose her again and again across timelines. A boy who was finally, standing in the same moment as her. Amara felt something shift in her chest. Something warm. Something steady. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's find out." Lio smiled. And this time, it wasn't haunted. Time Split Café. Chapter 10. A Future That Belongs to Them. The afternoon sun drifted lazily through the cafe windows, painting soft gold on the tabletops and catching, in the dust motes floating like tiny galaxies. Amara had seen this cafe 1,000 times. But never like this. Never after surviving a fractured timeline. Never after pulling someone back from the in-between. Never after holding hands with a boy who'd chosen her in every possible future. Lio sat across from her, studying their intertwined fingers like he still didn't trust the moment to be real. Amara felt the same. For the first time all day, she inhaled deeply. "How does it feel?" she asked softly. Lio blinked. "How does what feel?" "Time," she said. "Being in just one of them." He thought for a moment. Then he whispered, "Peaceful." That single word eased tension in her shoulders. She didn't even realize she'd been carrying. The first normal thing, a customer approached the counter, waving politely. Can someone make me a cappuccino?" Amara raised her hand. "On it!" Leo's eyes widened slightly. "You're going to use the machine?" Amara shrugged. "Why not? We made our peace, right?" She's calm. I'm calm. "We're good." Lio hesitated. "You're talking about it like it's an actual person." "It kinda is." Lio smiled. "You're braver than me." She marched behind the counter and turned toward the espresso machine. It gleamed innocently. "Okay, you," she whispered. "Let's try being coworkers, not enemies." She pressed the button. The machine hissed gently. Not glowing. Not trembling. Not threatening to fling anyone into the future. It was normal. Amara exhaled in relief. The cappuccino poured beautifully. She delivered it to the customer, then returned to the booth, sliding into her seat with triumphant flair. "Told you," she bragged. "Machine and I are besties now." Lio raised an eyebrow. "You just trauma bonded with a haunted coffee maker." "Don't judge." He laughed, a low, warm sound that made her heart skip. The conversation they needed. After a moment, Lio leaned forward, more serious now. Amara, can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. In the future you saw, the one you jumped to, did you see me? She shook her head. No, you weren't there at all. And that scared me more than anything. Lio looked down at their hands. That's the thing, he murmured. That future wasn't mine. It was yours. Every version of events where you ended up on that street, I wasn't there. Why? She asked. He looked up, pain flickering in his eyes. Because I kept ruining the timeline by running to you. Amara's breath hitched. Lio continued, voice quiet. In every loop, every version, the moment I realized something was wrong with your future, I'd try to change it. Try to stop it. Try to take your place. He swallowed. And the timeline reacted by pulling me further and further forward, forcing me to watch the moments I failed. Amara's chest tightened. You didn't fail, she whispered. Lio stared at her. Amara, I watched you disappear, over and over, and I watched you come back, she countered gently. Every time. Something in his face softened. A tension breaking, a truth settling. Maybe, she added, it wasn't about you failing to save me. Maybe it was about us needing to meet in the same moment. Lio let that sink in. Then he whispered, Then I'm glad this is the moment we chose. A small, quiet future. The cafe had softened into its slow afternoon lull. Lights warm, voices low, the espresso machine utterly bored. Lio glanced around. So, what do we do now? Well, Amara said, you could stay? Not as a mysterious time loop customer. As Lio. He smiled shyly. I'd like that. She nudged him gently under the table. And maybe, she added, you can tell me about all the versions of me you saw. His cheeks turned pink. Oh, those. Those, she insisted. Well, in some timelines you hated me. I doubt that. In some you made fun of my tea order. That sounds accurate. In one version you threw a muffin at me. She cupped her mouth dramatically. Why would I assault you with baked goods? You said you felt like it. She burst out laughing. He looked at her with quiet wonder. Then she asked softly, and in any of those futures, did we ever talk like this? He took his time before answering. No, he said. Not like this. Amara swallowed. A warm, steady feeling rose in her chest. Something fragile and fearless all at once. Well, she whispered, then let's make this one count. A knock at the door of fate. Just as the moment settled comfortably between them, the cafe door chimed one last time. Amara turned. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, stepped inside holding a drawing. She approached the counter, looking around curiously. Hi, Amara said brightly. Can I help you? The girl nodded timidly. My grandma said I should give this to the barista. The one who saved the man who got the big promotion today. Amara blinked. The what now? The girl held out the picture. It showed a smiling barista, with suspiciously familiar hair, standing beside a glowing espresso machine. Next to her was Panic Latte Guy, now drawn with a superhero cape. And on the back, scribbled in crayon, Thank you for helping my dad. Amara stared, heart swelling. That's really sweet, she said softly. The little girl beamed. He said you made him brave. Amara felt Lio's gaze on her. She swallowed a rush of emotion. Tell him he made himself brave, she said gently. The girl nodded, then skipped out of the cafe. Amara clutched the drawing to her chest. Lio smiled softly. You have no idea how many people you changed, he murmured. She felt her cheeks warm. Well, I guess I'll start believing it, she said. And as she placed the drawing on the counter, she realized something. Not every future was dangerous. Not every unknown was something to fear. Some unknowns were gifts. Some unknowns were beginnings. She turned back to Lio. I think, she whispered, this might be the start of a really good timeline. Lio reached for her hand again. Yeah, he said softly. I think so too. Time Split Café. Chapter 11. The moment that was meant to happen. For the first time since the day had begun, Time Split Café felt ordinary. Not cursed, not dangerous, not humming with magic or fear. Just ordinary, and somehow, that felt like the most miraculous thing of all. Amara placed the little girl's drawing carefully on the corkboard behind the counter, securing it with a green pushpin. It brightened the whole space instantly, a tiny universe of crayon colors and gratitude. Lio watched her with a smile that softened everything inside her. "You're really good at this," he murmured. She turned. At what? Being emotionally manipulated by children's artwork? Because yes, absolutely. He laughed. "I meant making people feel safe." Her cheeks warmed. "Well, someone's got to balance out our resident haunted espresso machine." The machine hissed, indignant. Lio smirked. "I think it likes you. It tried to kill me." "It tried to save you," Lio corrected gently. "In its own terrifying way." She sighed. "I can't believe I'm having emotional conversations about a coffee machine." "Welcome to my life," he said. Their eyes met, and something unspoken flickered between them. Something warm, something steady, something that finally had the chance to exist. A quiet question. Customers thinned out as the afternoon faded, leaving only the warmth of the sun sweeping across the wooden floors. Amara leaned back against the counter. "So what now?" she asked. "You going to disappear for 10 minutes at random? Or do we officially retire from time-jumping trauma?" Lio blew out a slow breath. "I think I'm done with jumping," he said. "But I'm not done here." Her heart skipped. "You're staying?" He nodded once, and it was the most certain she'd ever seen him. "This cafe, this timeline, this version of you," his voice softened. "It feels like home." She swallowed hard. "Wow," she said quietly. "That's kind of romantic." "Kind of?" he teased. "Okay, very romantic," she admitted. He shifted closer, standing in front of her now, the distance between them almost nothing. "But I don't know what staying looks like," he said honestly. "I've been stuck in the future so long that I forgot how to be in the present." Amara reached up and brushed a stray lock of hair from his forehead. "You don't have to figure it out today," she said gently. "Or tomorrow. Or even next week." He leaned into her touch slightly. "You'll be here?" he whispered. "If you want me to be," he exhaled shakily. "I want that more than anything." Her pulse quickened. "Then yes, I'll be here." Their breaths mingled. Time softened around them. For once, not pushing, not pulling, just existing. The moment the machine approves, a sudden hiss from the espresso machine made them both jump. Amara sighed. "Really? You need attention now?" Lio stepped back and eyed the machine warily. "Maybe it's just reacting." "To what?" she asked. He turned back to her, and the answer was obvious. "Us." The machine gave a soft ding. Amara's mouth fell open. "Is it blessing this relationship?" Lio deadpanned. "I am absolutely not dating you with a coffee guardian involved." The machine hissed again. Okay, Lio said, hands raised. "Fine, you can approve. Just don't time warp us into a wedding or something." The machine hummed ominously. Amara choked. "Stop talking to it like that." He grinned, and she realized something. He smiled differently now. Not the tight, haunted version she'd seen during the loops. Not the strained smiles he wore when bracing for another bad future. This was a real smile. A beginning smile. When the present feels like a gift. As the golden hour wrapped the cafe in warm light, Lio took a step closer. "Amara," he said gently, "can I—" But he didn't finish the question. He didn't need to. She stepped into him, their foreheads almost touching. "You can," she whispered. And he kissed her. Soft, slow, steady, like he was finally allowed to feel everything he'd held back across 100 timelines. Amara melted into it, her hands slipping to his shoulders, his fingers brushing, her jaw like she was something fragile but fiercely important. Time didn't stop. It didn't twist. It didn't jump. It just existed, with them in it, together. When they finally pulled apart, Lio rested his forehead against hers. "I've wanted to do that," he whispered, "in every version of the future I saw." She smiled. "And now you can," she said. "No loops, no danger, just us." He reached up, brushing a thumb across her cheek. "I think," he murmured, "this is the timeline I choose." "And I choose you," she said softly. The espresso machine clicked approvingly. They laughed. Really laughed. For the first time since everything began. A new fixed point. As the cafe lights warmed into evening glow, Amara and Lio stood together, hands intertwined. And for once, there were no visions of the next 10 minutes. No warnings of what would happen next. No collapsing timelines. and no broken futures to repair, because the future wasn't written yet, and for the first time, that didn't scare either of them. Time split, time healed. Time moved forward, and so did they. Together. End of story.